Hey, what's going on, everyone? JJ Martyr here with Bagman Gaming. Hey, I put together some footage on Outriders for you guys, and I'm going to go through it with you. Outriders is Square Enix and People Can Fly's new looter shooter, and this is what I think about it. Enjoy. All right, guys, so right off the bat, this game is all about the beauty. The artists, the developers did a great job just making this alien environment of the planet Enoch look familiar yet alien at the same time. They do a fantastic job. So the game differentiates itself from other looter shooters like Destiny or Warframe by kind of giving you this strategic kind of concept of movement where you can hide behind cover, take out your enemies from a distance, and then there's still kind of like this magic powers sort of thing that you can mix together with it. But don't let this fool you, because after the initial tutorial and maybe 5 levels, maybe 6 levels, you're going to find out that taking cover is completely worthless and that these mechanics are completely wasted. Now, that doesn't mean that this game is garbage, because it's not. I love the game. I think the game's totally worth the money. But while it's not garbage, it's kind of like that piece of pizza in your refrigerator in the Ziploc that you're not quite sure exactly how long it's been there. You don't really remember the last time you ordered pizza, but you're hungry and it's late at night, so you're like, fuck it, I'm going to eat it. Yeah, it's kind of like that, because you can't play a sniper, you can't play a support class. There's just too many enemies that are going to rush you. It seems like everybody's got grenades, and everybody's going to come at you with the armor and shotguns, like mad, like they're a redneck at a feminist rally. Like, it's just awful. But the game is fun. If you want to get in people's faces and you want to blow stuff up, my fiance and I, we play the game a couple hours a night. We really enjoy it. And you really can do a lot of stuff with the characters, aside from the idea of being a sniper / support character. I know that there's ways of pulling that off, but, it's just, it's difficult. But this example right here is my Trickster, my lady's Devastator, and we're taking on the Broodmother here in a T-14 expedition trial. So the game basically has 2 modes. It has a world tier and an expedition tier. The world tier is where you find the storyline and where the game really shines, and then the expedition tier is really kind of an RNG grind to look for the best weapons in order to do more of these things faster. And that's pretty much what endgame is on this game. So if that's the type of thing you like, and you really don't mind a awful, terrible RNG grind, then this is going to be a great game for you. If you're not into grinding over and over and over again to get the perfect rolls for a weapon, then you're really going to enjoy the story portion of this game, and I would just throw the expedition stuff right out the window if I was you, because you don't need it. For example, this is my Pyromancer. He's running around in one of the many environments that the game offers. Again, these artists, these developers, they did an amazing job making these alien environments seem somewhat familiar, yet at the same time you get to run around like a superhero. And in this case, I'm lighting everything on fire, and then I'm going to blow the whole room up, which is not a very typical Pyromancer build, but still a fun one and an example of how you can tailor the game any way you'd like. And granted, like, not a lot of people are going to go around wanting to make peripheral barbecue like I'm doing here, but this was fun for me, and I like that you can take each class and do a lot with it in different ways. There are 4 total classes. There are the Pyromancer, the Technomancer, the Devastator, and the Trickster. So as far as environmental challenges go, the game only really integrates one type of environmental challenge, and that is in the form of these obelisk circle protector thingies. This is basically a timed zone capture that is really pretty, just like the rest of the game. So your job here is to keep these critters out of this zone and allow this obelisk to unlock the door to get you to the next part of the door. That's really the only environmental challenge that you'll see in this game. There's no differentiation in mission types per se. It's all, especially at the end. Now, when you're in the world tier, there are certain scenarios where you'll get to fight special world bosses, if you will, giant dragon things type, mutants that, man, I really wish this game had more of these things. They are fantastic, but you're not going to see these in the expedition tiers. You're only going to see these a couple of times in the world tiers, and it's kind of a tragic thing that you don't see more of them because, man, again, it's so pretty. The artist did such a good job. It's so much fun. Because this game does one thing that you want all games to do, and that's it makes you feel like a badass. Like, you feel like a badass soldier throughout this entire game, especially during the world tier adventure. The storyline's great. The plot line's great. They really do a good job, and the game is worth just that. So the point of the game, of course, is getting cool loot, right? And the artist worked very hard on their loot, and it's neat. You can get loot out of these drop pods in the expedition level, which I don't really understand why the loot all looks like it's from Enoch when the drop pods are from a spaceship from Earth that's never been on Enoch, but whatever. That's not my place to point out plot holes. My place is to tell you that you can get loot in many different ways. And one of the ways you can get loot is by doing these collector quests for the historian, in which once you hand in 10 of them, you get a legendary item. You can also do bounty hunts, and you can do creature hunts, which aren't necessarily any boss type or special enemies. They're just named versions of the enemies that you'll encounter throughout the game. Now, the problem with getting the legendary loot is that it's all RNG. You will probably find 17 pieces of cannonball pants or cannonball leggings before you'll ever find a piece that you're going to think about using. And you probably won't even want to use that the next time you see a blue item that you can upgrade to better stats. So there's kind of a missing element in the loot system. And even if you get really that satisfaction of shooting a bad guy in the head, you may not get the loot for it. And that's really the kind of the problem of the game is you have this beautiful game with all of these great concepts that really don't get utilized. In fact, they get traded off for this, kind of a speed through at end game to try to get you to, constantly, grind over and over and over again for what reason? So you can do it over and over again faster. And that's really it. The enemies, when you can get a good connection with someone, don't really get more difficult or challenging or change things up. They just get cheaper. And I'll talk about that in a second, but one of the biggest problems of Outriders that I really hope PCF and Square Enix fix is the connectivity. The connectivity is awful. There's the strangest bugs that, just end you searching over and over again in this vicious cycle trying to find a group. And sometimes when you find a group, you get kicked out right away because they forgot to toggle off their open status or something like that. Or maybe you'll out damage somebody and they'll get mad and kick you from the group. I've had that happen to me before where, I've spent, 15 minutes going through a expedition and then just been booted. So hopefully they fix these connectivity issues because they really take away from the fun of the game. They turn the game into a real pain in the ass, actually. But that's still beside the point. The connectivity, if you don't have a good connection, then you are fighting mobs that seem to be clairvoyant. I've had brew mothers cast area of effect spells in mid teleport with my trickster to where I land in an area that's now infected by invisible blue fire that I can't get out of, that I'm dead because I'm a trickster. If I don't kill something, I'm dead anyways. And the problem with that is that, you know, I've clicked dodge or I've clicked teleport, and somehow these mobs have seen where I'm going, and that's all the latency thing. So maybe PCF can put a patch together to where you get half a second of immunity when you do some of these movement abilities, and then you don't have to worry about the creatures being able to, you know, see where you're going. Especially with those murder hornets, man. Those murder hornets are nasty. They will hit you with their tail clear across the map, and then they'll spit this guided acid, you know, armor-eating loogies on you, and you're just like, what the hell is this thing? And it's nothing to take down one at tier 10, but at tier 14, you know, their projectiles are guided, and their hitbox is, you know, halfway across the map, which is, it's just cheap. And, you know, there's other mobs in here that, you know, like crawlers that, you know, can hit you through walls, and there's never just one of them. There's like 3 of them, and so you've got these 3 things just blasting you through walls, and there, so there's some work that they need to do to make it fair and not just scaled up, because this whole like scale things up so you have to have the perfect loot to enjoy yourself really does get redundant. Whereas I would really have liked to seen them put some effort into having different types of missions. Maybe a mission where you have found the pod already and it's in the back of your truck, and you have to walk alongside of your truck to, you know, escort it to safety, you know, or maybe a bunker mission where you've got the pod, but it's in a enemy bunker, and now the enemies are coming at you in waves. You know, stuff like that where the environment is also different, and making these mobs not have to scale up so high, rather just giving the advantage of surprise or ambush to the mobs. And maybe that would make things a little more fun. And also, as far as endgame being the expedition modes, and just having all of the loot be time-based and RNG-based, maybe they could have a casual mode to where you still get rewards for taking your time and actually enjoying the adventure. So that's kind of where I have my biggest beef with this game, is that endgame so far as we've seen in the last month and a half that the game's been out, endgame is primarily RNG. It's let alone specific things like these guys. Like, where are the giants? We don't ever see the giants. Spoiler alert, right? We don't see these giants ever. In fact, there's not even a creative letdown, you know, where, you know, maybe Yagak was harnessing the power of one during the Eye of the Storm, and that's why he was able to control the storm, and when you kill him, you free the beast or something like that. There's none of that. There's just no fucking giants. And the thing is that you get these loots, and again, these are loots that, you know, are from Earth, that look like they're from the planet Enoch. They're still beautiful. The artist did a great job, but, you know, that's just a little confusion there. Like, I thought we were getting better stuff from Earth. That's why we're doing this. Instead, we're all looking like, you know, whatever. And then you have this progression thing that really, you can't even beat the game solo. You have to have a team of 3. I guess that's okay, but why base my accolades on it, my personal accolades on it? It's not even like other people can see my flag. Like, my ultimate reward is a new flag or a new piece on my truck, and other people can't see my flags because it's just my flag when I put it in the ground. How come all 3 flags aren't in the ground? I don't know. But if you like the damage aspects of the game and you are the type of person that wants to run this stuff as fast as possible, Endgame is fantastic. If not, why do I even bother? He said it perfectly right there. Anyways, that is my review of Outriders. I really hope they work on it. It's brought to you by CryptoComics.com. These guys are great. If you love comics, you love cryptocurrency, you need to check them out. And BalefireBooks.com. That's my book collection. If you want to support the channel, buy a book. Links are in the description. Thank you very much for watching.